Look at this messy, greasy thing. But the price is right. Let's see if we can make it work.
This is pretty much the worst video ever made.
Napoleon, like anyone can even know that.
Hello my friends, and welcome to Tom's Tinkering and Adventures. Well, another curb find. This was out actually across the street from me. Saw it after I went running. Actually, I think my wife saw it, mentioned it to me, and I was like, what? It's down there? Okay, so snagged it up. I didn't even ask my neighbor what was wrong with it. I suppose I should, but a little push string trimmer deal, and it's greasy and dirty. The pull cord is missing the little rubber handle, which I just gave one to my friend, Roman of the Empire. Check out his YouTube channel if you're into nerd stuff. And anyway, I'm sure I'll find another one around here. But my friends at Super Clean sent me a new box of degreaser just in the perfect time. So I'll open that up, show you what they gave me, and we'll clean this thing up, and then we'll start tearing into it and see if we can make it work. More goodies from my friends at Super Clean. Stickers. I love stickers. The aerosol cleaner, some wheel cleaner. Boy, I can use that. I never keep up on my wheels as good as I should. And they sent me another banner. Well, I guess I'll have two of them. This is good stuff. I really appreciate them sending that stuff out to me and being a sponsor of this channel. I'm not a big YouTube guy, but they continue to support me. I appreciate that. So check out Super Clean. You can get it at Walmart. You can get it at AutoZone. You can get it on Amazon, anywhere. I don't think I used this before they contacted me, but if they quit supporting me, which I hope they don't, I will continue to purchase it. So there you go. So that will be our first step. We will spray this thing down, probably using the spray bottle here. I'll take it out, spray it down. I found it best to spray it on there, let it sit a little bit. For heavy grease like this, an old toothbrush. Don't use the one that you're using on your teeth now. An old toothbrush. Scrub it up a little bit, hit it with some water. This thing will probably come pretty decent with minimal effort. And then we will get into troubleshooting this thing, and who knows? I've had failures on this channel. Sometimes I can't get it going. But maybe today we'll revive this thing. There's our first cleaning on this thing. Once I take that engine cover off and the gas tank and all the other stuff, I'm sure there's going to be more grease under there, but we probably took about a pound worth of grease off of it, and it actually looks like something that someone could use. All I've done with this thing, pushed it up my driveway and pulled the cord over to make sure that the engine turns. That's all I've done. So we'll take it in the garage. I'll blow it off with the air compressor a little bit, and I guess we will test for spark first, and then we'll go from there. I took the top cover with the recoil off because it was hanging up. So I cleaned that up inside with some Super Clean, and then I lubed it. Seems like it's returning okay. You can see how greasy this engine is. Who knows, maybe the seals are all bad on this thing, but we'll see if we can still get it going. I went through my tub of lawnmower and weed eater parts there. I couldn't find another pull handle. Thanks, Roman. I bet I have one around here. I just didn't find one. But I did find a, whatever you would call this thing here, the little keeper when you put the handle there so it doesn't go all the way back. I fabricated a top shelf looking pull handle for now. And we will test spark. I got my fancy spark tester right there. It's really nice, get it a good visual. And to do that, I have hooked up a socket on my drill. And we will turn the engine over with that, hopefully. Extreme zoom, there we go. Now I can hold this thing with two hands. Hopefully you can see that. We do have spark. I hit it with a little bit more super clean, cleaned it all up. Now usually when I see an engine that's this greasy, it's either really, really old or someone has filled it up with too much oil. Or, I mean, it could be leaking everywhere. It's a big possibility. One of the common failure points is there's a seal right here. There we go. It goes on this oil tube. And these can fail or even just get dirty. It's not the best system in the world, so I'm just going to kind of clean this up. And when we put the recoil and the engine cover back on here, the pull starter, we'll try to get this thing seated in there better. Because if that thing is leaking, it's going to just put oil out everywhere and make a big mess. But these things are cheap, like $1, and it's a pretty common failure. Super easy to change out. One bolt mounts the oil fill and dipstick onto the engine cover. 8mm bolt. Take this thing out, it just pulls right out, and replace that thing. I'll clean all this other crap off of here. Cat, you're no help. I removed the spark plug. It doesn't look amazing, but it doesn't look terrible either. It doesn't look like a complete oil burner, but I tipped this thing up to take a peek at the cable here because the cable appears to be kind of seized up. I'll worry about that a little bit later. While I was working on the spark plug, I decided to look at it, and all this oily stuff is running out of the carburetor. So that could be a big sign of blow-by coming out of the engine. This tube right here is kind of like a crankcase vent. It puts all the oil vapors in there to burn. Or, like I said, someone overfilled this thing. Pretty common issue. You overfill it, then it blows the oil out, and it'll blow it out of the exhaust pipe or out of there. But either way, I am just going to kind of clean this spark plug up for now because no reason to put a new one on here at this point. And then we'll try to spray a little bit of something flammable in there and see if we can't make this thing pop a few times. Well, what good is it to have fancy tools if I don't use them occasionally? I picked up this little endoscope camera off of Amazon. I don't remember what I paid, 40 or 50 bucks for it. Anyway, let's take a peek inside of this cylinder. Why don't we? All right, there's the valves, and I think that's the side of the cylinder over here. Let me see if I can get in there a little bit better. There's the piston. A lot of oil in there, a lot of oil. I'm going to spray some, what do I got over here? Brake clean. I'm going to spray some brake clean in there, hose that thing out a little bit, and hopefully I'll pull it over a few times, maybe blow compressed air in there. Give us a little better chance at this thing possibly running. Well, here goes nothing. I'm going to spray some, I guess, brake cleaner in there because I'm running out of carb cleaner. And we'll see if anything happens. If I can get some in there. Who knows? Let's see. That kind of confirms that it will run. So now, on to the fun of removing this carburetor. We'll clean that up and see what happens. I really dislike these carburetors. I don't know, is this a Tecumseh engine? I don't know what it is, but these are kind of a pain. It's really hard to get them off. The mount bolt here isn't hard to access. The one back there is. So generally what I do is I take the whole manifold off, but to get that off, you have to take the exhaust off. And then you also have to pay very close attention to where these governor linkage rods and stuff are routed. So if you do this, just be ready. So I'll take this exhaust off. Hopefully those will come off easy enough. We'll cross our fingers. Another day, another carburetor. Once again, use the super clean on this. I just sprayed it down and rinsed it with water. Don't be afraid. Your carburetor can get water on it, in it. And we're gonna take it all apart and clean it up and blow it out with compressed air. So inside doesn't look too bad. On these carburetors, this is like your main jet. This one, you can see it's soaked with oil. We're gonna wanna check this float. I'll have to get a needle nose pliers probably to get that out. Or I can use a little piece of wire to push that out. Let's see if we can do that. I don't know why I show up to my bench without all my tools. I'm sorry if I'm sniffling a little bit. Got a little bit of allergies or something going on today. Trying not to sound too nasally on my video. All right, let me get the needle nose. We'll pull that out. I'm gonna spray all this out with the remaining quarter can of carburetor cleaner that I have. It doesn't look terrible inside of here, just this oil. And when I took this off, there was oil inside of here coming out of the intake port. We'll cross our fingers if this thing was just overfilled at one point or something. Carburetor's all back together. The gasket around the float bowl was cracked, but fortunately I had a used one in there and I don't see it leaking yet. This air filter is destroyed. I don't have one of those. I put some gas in there. I don't know if our prime button is going to work or not. No idea. Maybe I'll give it a blast of juice here. I'll set the camera up and we'll give a few pulls. And I added some oil. It was low, of course. All right, let's give it a little bit of juice to go. Let's see what happens. Well, that sounded okay. But it's not staying running, so who knows? Even my brake clean is almost empty. There we go. And maybe I need to add more fuel. That's a winner. Now we're getting a lot of smoke off of here, but remember that cylinder was covered with oil. There was oil in the intake. Now I have another possible reason why that could happen. Now if you're working on a lawnmower, a weed eater, or one of these string trimmers, anything like that, and say for like that cable, if you tip this thing over on its side, oh, look at how that thing just destroyed the focus. Tip it on its side like that to work on it. Well, all the oil in the engine is going to go onto that side. So that's a possibility of what happened. Maybe someone is tipping it over, working on it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this thing outside. I'm going to run it a good while. The trimmer head was turning. That bar up there should prevent that from happening, but like I said, this cable is kind of seized up in here. But I'll take it out and I'll run it for a while, see if we can't get some of that oil to burn off. I ran this thing about a solid 3, 4, 5 minutes, something like that. You can see some smoke on the engine. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. There's a little bit of smoke, but I mean, there's a lot of oil on the engine, so it's burning stuff off. There was no smoke coming out of the exhaust when it ran. It sounded pretty good. I'll check the oil again, and maybe I'll see if I can easily figure out something with this cable, because having that thing constantly engaged, it's not the best. But I went out in my yard and I knocked down a couple of the tall weeds with it, even though the line on this thing is only a couple inches long. So I pulled this cable out. There was a couple of bad spots on it. I kind of temporarily patched it up, and I'll probably, if I decide to keep this thing, or if I sell it, I don't know if I'll sell it. I usually give these things away, but it works now. Let's see here. You got to release that. So it's engaged right now. When I let it go, since the cable's not great, you kind of have to push it back in there, and then it disengages. I don't know if there's supposed to be a spring on the little arm that's in there. There isn't one. I added a spring. That's this bolt right here. I added a spring to it and attached it right there. So it would need a cable, an air filter, and I'm not proud to admit this, but I hit that thing with the Super Clean and rinsed it out, and we'll let it air out and dry, and we'll see. I mean, it'll get us by for now, because I want to still run this thing some more. And then the other thing that we need is some trimmer line. I thought I had some, but I think I had 2 or 3 of these over the years, and maybe I gave it away with the last one. So anyway, she runs pretty good, all things considered. And I guess we'll take that off now. I was leaving that on in case it failed. I'd put it right back out on the curb for the next lucky individual. So if you see that wonderful sort of thing sitting on the curb, grab it up, give it a shot. I mean, I don't really need it, but I can use it, and I'll use it a little bit, probably give it to someone else, or, you know, trade it for a couple of cold beverages. I also want to say thank you to my friends here at Super Clean for the continued support of my channel. Every time that they contact me, they ask if I'd like to do a giveaway. So the main reason I haven't done another giveaway is because I don't get a whole lot of interaction on my channel. So make some comments, you know, like it, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. It's the life of an influencer. I don't like doing that, but you know, the more that you interact with my videos, the more attention they get, helps me grow. So I appreciate it if you do. And if you interact a bunch, maybe we'll do a Super Clean giveaway. That's enough for the likes, comments, and subscribe stuff. Thank you very much for watching. Get out there and find your adventure. Adios.